So go ahead, put your questions in the comments now. Today, I have a very interesting topic to talk about. So I am going to be talking first. Well, it's in the form of a question because I'm really curious to know what you know about this topic. That is, can a spouse or an intimate partner be a trafficker at the same time? So that's going to be the question that I'm going to answer today. Now, usually, the answer, shockingly, a lot of people would believe that the answer would be no. So when they think about the T visa for victims of trafficking, they don't necessarily put themselves in that category based on spousal abuse or domestic violence because the person that did the abuse who is potentially a trafficker is the spouse. So a lot of people tend to exclude the spouse or intimate partner, if you're not married, an intimate partner, from being a trafficker. Because the misconception is usually that the spouse or intimate partner, a spouse or intimate partner in that situation cannot be a trafficker. And also in trafficking situations, trafficker cannot be someone who is necessarily close to you that way. You know, the common uh, perception and assumptions that we hold about trafficking is that traffickers are people who tend to lure you into that situation from the beginning. And that's not true. This is what I want to let you know. And it's important for you to know this because it can mean that you can get relief through the T visa. Just knowing this fact, if you're facing mistreatment or abuse by a spouse or intimate partner, you may qualify for relief under the T visa. And let me tell you how you can qualify for the T visa based on the mistreatment by a spouse or an intimate partner. So, if, for example, you are in a situation where you are, so if you're in a situation where you're being forced to do work in the house, so your intimate partner is forcing you to do work, take care of children, go out and work, and then take away all your money. They're forcing you to do things that you don't want to do. And this also comes down to, being intimate with your partner or your spouse if you don't want to. But they're using tactics to force you into that situation where you have to comply with them. That can be considered a form of trafficking. And we have gotten this for our clients. So this is not anything new to us. We have gotten this T status for our clients. So I'll give you an example where, yes, there was a pre existing relationship, there's a pre existing intimate relationship, but where it turned from being an intimate relationship to being a trafficking situation is where the partner starts to force them to stay in that situation and stay in the situation to be intimate with them or to do work or to basically be their maid, their caretaker, their nanny around the house. When in truth and fact, had you given the spouse the chance, they would have left a long time ago. But because of maybe blackmail, because of threats, because of fear of this intimate partner, you are not leaving the situation. That's what makes it trafficking. Hi there on Instagram. So the question I'm answering today is, can a spouse or intimate partner also be a trafficker, be your trafficker, if you're in a situation like this? And this is an important question to answer. It's important to answer it because there are many people who are going through this situation that have excluded themselves from immigration relief, like the T visa, because they think because the person that did the mistreatment is an intimate partner or is a spouse, that they can't be the trafficker. And I'm here to explain to you why that is false and why you need to make sure that you also, if you're going through a situation where you're not married to your intimate partner, but you're being mistreated, or you are married to the intimate partner, but it's like they're holding you hostage. This is where you need to evaluate whether the T visa could be a viable option for you. Now, the main thing with the T visa is that your spouse or intimate partner is forcing you to stay in that relationship. So it goes from where you voluntarily entered an intimate relationship with your partner, and then from there, it's transformed into a trafficking situation when you wanted to leave, you desperately want to leave this situation, but because the spouse or the partner, they're threatening you, while forcing you to stay in that situation, that's what makes it trafficking, right? If they're still forcing you to perform acts as if you were their intimate partner when you have checked out, and you have made it clear to them that you have checked out, but they are telling you if you leave, these are the bad consequences that are going to happen, that is a form of trafficking. If they're also putting you to work, like you came to be with your intimate partner, and then they start to make you do chores around the house. They start to force you into kinds of labor that you didn't sign up to do. You didn't sign up to be a maid. You didn't sign up to be a nanny. You didn't volunteer, and you made it clear you aren't willing to do that. But they turn around and force you to do that through their intimidation, through their threat, through imposing fear on you, through threatening to get you sent home, through threatening to get you thrown out of the house, or threatening your safety, or threatening to take away the children from you. That makes it a form of trafficking as well. So it's very important to be aware of this form of relief. Now, what the T visa does is a T visa helps you to escape that situation, so, and empower you at the same time, so that you do have your work permit, you do have your travel document, and that you're able, sorry, not travel document. So that's under VAWA. You do have your work permit and you have your status for 4 years. This does not automatically include a travel document. After you get the T visa, there is the possibility to apply for the travel document if you need to travel, but it's not automatic that you get this. But in this case, you get your papers. You become a status holder here again. You have your papers. You can live and work anywhere you want to in the United States. And then on top of that, you can get your green card after it's been approved. So this is an area of law that we focus on for our clients. We've been getting approvals for our clients in this situation. So I would say this, every case is different, but I gave you an idea of what a situation with an intimate partner or a spouse may look like. It doesn't matter if the spouse is a citizen or resident or undocumented themselves. It doesn't matter. What matters is, what are they forcing you to do? Are they forcing you to be intimate with them? Are they forcing you to stay in the relationship, even though you've made it clear you want to end it, but out of fear, you're not leaving? Are they forcing you to do work around the house or in their business? Or placing you in jobs, in different jobs, and then taking all your money away? This is the type of situation that can get you the T visa. So just give us a call, and then we can definitely work with you to get this. Now, let's see here. I'm going to answer some questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments, and I'll go ahead and answer those questions. Hi there, Angela. It's nice to see you. If my case is denied, can I apply again? Yes, it's possible to apply again. Of course, you'd have to figure out, does it make sense to apply again? That's going to be very important. Someone I knew was denied citizenship because they had a case of prostitution, even with disposition. If they use an attorney, can that decision be reversed? So in this case, where always definitely get an attorney. You want an attorney here because anytime it comes to criminal conduct, it's going to take a detailed evaluation about how the statute, um, then how does it go against your good moral character? Clearly, here, if you do have a conviction for prostitution or the person has um, case of prostitution, then in that case, there you're gonna have to wait for the period of time to go by before you can apply again because it goes against your good moral character. Can you get the decision reversed? That's a criminal law question, as in a criminal attorney. And this is where it's very important. If you're currently going through a case, you definitely make sure you talk to your attorney about possibly getting the charges dismissed or reduced completely, because then it can get you out of situations like this where you're applying for citizenship and then you're denied. Now, I noticed you said was denied citizenship. So if she's a green card holder, she couldn't go for the TN anymore. She would have to wait, possibly wait for the period of time to pass until she can apply again for citizenship, which is usually 5 years. And in some cases, 3 years if they're married to a US citizen. So it's called the statutory period where they look at your good moral character. It's not to say they will never hold it against you after the 5 years, but then they are going to look at the entire circumstances surrounding the conviction, and then the fact that it's outside of the 5 year statutory period. So this is where I definitely say get an attorney, because that's going to be very important here. And it depends. Now, if they don't have their paper, because some people use citizenship with residence interchangeably, it's different, they're different. But if this person does not have their green card yet, then the T visa, we have gotten a situation like this where our client was in a similar situation where they were being trafficked, but through prostitution. We got that waived for our client. So the prostitution was forgiven through the waiver, and they have their status now. Now they can go for their green card without that being used against them again. All right. What is the timeline for the I-485 VAWA, and how long does fingerprint review take? So the I-485, so for the work permit, you're looking at 6 to 12 months. Then once the VAWA is approved, after about 2.5 to 3 years, they process the green card based on the adjustment of status. So I would say 3 years to get to the green card, and about 6 to 12 months to get to the work permit and the travel document. All right. Okay, can I marry while waiting for my petition to be approved? So if this is a T visa, you can get married, and if your spouse doesn't have their papers, they can get it with you, the T visa. So what happens to the individual who does the trafficking? It depends on the facts, and that's where we have to determine what happened. So for example, if this has already been in front of the courts or the police, then they deal with that. However, if it has not been dealt with by the courts, it's going to depend on the facts here and the extent to which the client wants justice here. So it's really on a case by case basis. When do you file a T visa against a company? What happens to that company? It's on a case by case basis. So in some cases, my clients just want to focus on the T visa, and there's very little information for the company to face severe consequences. And then in other cases, my clients do want full justice. They want to go all the way. They want to do Department of Labor. and it's still confidential even through Department of Labor. But they want the end result to be they are compensated for being exploited, or being trafficked. For the most part, this process is confidential. I had done a consultation with a lawyer that works with you, but the info I don't. So the attorneys do explain that, but if you have any follow-up questions, you can always call the office. And they can, you can either schedule another consultation, because we don't leave consultations without anybody understanding what the information is. So if you want to do another appointment, that's you can do that too. Can VAWA apply if you're not living in America? Yes, it's possible. Now, if your spouse was in the military or they were working for the federal government, then you can apply for VAWA while being outside of the country. Do I have to pay for another consultation? Yes. If you have additional questions that you didn't get to ask in the consultation, then yes, you're going to have to. Now, if you do qualify for assistance and you got the code sheet, you can always just call back. You can ask for further clarification before you get started with us. You are very welcome. My I-130 petition relative my progress, 2 months to 5 weeks to 4 weeks to 3 weeks to 2 weeks, Sunday to 1 week. What's next? So it's just to wait for the decision. Why is it so difficult to have a good I guess that's a good way to get to the United States? It's limited. You're welcome, Kiki. Can someone report you if you overstayed your visa, and would you be deported immediately? Yes, anybody can report you, and it really now there's deportation criteria, there's deportation priorities in place that would make it, as long as you're law abiding, you haven't broken any rules, it would make it very unlikely that you would be they would just come for you immediately. However, if you do have a criminal record, then that's going to put you at a higher risk for definitely being deported after being reported. Can my children apply for a tourist visa just to see me for a little while? My vows is pending. I think that VAWA is pending, but I don't have travel documents. They are both in school. If they can get their visa, then I've had clients where the relatives travel to see them anyway. It's usually not a problem. um, I'm 40 and been here since I was a child. My son is 21 and a US citizen, but I did not come here legally. Can I apply for a green card? Unfortunately, if you did not come legally with a visa, then no, they're not going to allow you to do adjustment of status. You're going to have to go. And even if you try to do the I-601A waiver, you would have to have another qualifying relative be able to help you with that to qualify for a special waiver to get forgiveness for entry into the US undocumented, so you can go back to the embassy to get your papers. But we do look at alternatives. It's all going to, though, depend on what your facts are. We have found alternative options for our clients, so we definitely want to talk to you, because this exact type of situation is what we resolve. So give us a call. Let's talk to you, figure out what happened, and then we can see what options are available. What's the latest news on the T visa? So they're doing bona fides. They are working on issuing bona fide determination letters that then can allow you to get a work permit earlier. So that's the latest news that happened August 28th. Can someone on probation and got a misdemeanor charge file for their spouse? Yes, they can. Now, if the conviction that they face involved a minor, then that's where they are going to have a problem. My I-130 petition Alien relative, my progress time, 2 months of, oh, I answered that. So on Monday, see notification, update case message, what that means. So it just probably means they're working on the case in some way. And I don't know, is that, it depends. If it's through our portal, then it may be something that we're sending to you. But if it's through USCIS, then they're probably working on your case. Log into your portal if you are a client and you saw this message. Log into your portal to see what the update is. If it's a USCIS, you can always call them to figure out what's going on. Is it normal for USCIS take long to make decision after a green card interview? So it's definitely not a good sign. Yes, that does happen, but it usually means there's more going on. They're looking into your case further, and so that can take a longer time. My brother I-485 was denied along with his I-765, but his I-130 is still active. What is your advice? So it sounds like he doesn't qualify for the I-485. That's why the I-130 petition is still pending, because that's okay. That's based on what a relative petitioning for another relative. But with adjustment of status through the I-485 form, you have to be applying at the right time to be able to qualify for this. So you have to be careful, especially when it comes to your, what immigrant category are you on the National Visa Bulletin. So this is where, if you really want to understand the situation, you definitely give us a call or go to the link in the profile to schedule your consultation. How much is your price range for starting a VAWA case? So we evaluate the case. We don't give prices here. What you can do is do initial consultation. That is an investment of $150. That's where you get advice and we really evaluate your case. We come up with a case plan and then we provide you a quote. What do you charge to process a T visa? So same thing, give us a call, let's talk and figure out what the facts are in your case, and then we can figure that part out. How long does it take to file for adult child and grandchildren in state and out of state? How long does it take? So it depends. I would say 5 to 7 years. Now, grandchildren, it depends on the category. Is it normal for USCIS to take long to make decisions? I answered that. Kiki, I can't wait to talk to you. Can someone on probation and got a misdemeanor charge file for their spouse? Yes, it's possible. All right, I don't see any other questions coming in, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. What does it mean when USCIS say after the 33 days pasted, they'll put you in MTA? So I'm not sure MTA what that means. At notice to appear. So usually the letter for the denial, I-485, the standard language says that you have 33 days to leave the country. That's standard language. It doesn't mean that they're going to bust down your door. But you are at a higher risk for getting a notice to appear. You definitely want to take action to figure out what other options you have before you do get any kind of notice to appear. And, very rarely does a USCIS just issue a notice to appear after a denial. That's rare. Usually they may see something in your background that, if they feel like you have a criminal record, you're a danger to public safety or national security, then maybe you'd then see a notice to appear or you'd be at a higher risk for being detained. But outside of that, it's very unlikely that you're gonna get a notice to appear. It depends on your case, though. What's the proof or evidence when they send you I-130? It depends on the relationship you're trying to prove. With marriage based, you do have to show evidence that you have a bona fide marriage, and that's going to be anything that shows you have, joint documents. You're planning your lives together in the future. So anything that where you're living your lives out, but you put it on paper, that's going to be helpful. You're sharing your joint lease, joint bank account, estate planning documents, children, anything like that. When do you get a 10-year green card via consular processing? Is it the day you entered or the date your case is approved? So it's when you enter. If you're outside of the United States, then when you get to the United States on an immigrant visa, they're going to issue you the 10-year green card. That's if it's marriage based, you're going to have to look at whether you're together for 2 years or whether you're together for under 2 years, then it may be a 2 year. But if it's any other situation like family based, marriage based, but you're married over 2 years, then you're going to get the 10-year. I received my work permit and travel document through VAWA, but have not received my prima facie. Is that normal? So, if more than 2 months have passed, you've got if you've got your work permit and travel document, it's likely more than 2 months have passed. You should be getting your prima facie. I'd say check with the immigration to make sure it wasn't sent to the wrong address. Um, Can you file for a change of status on your own if your husband was abusive and refused to file for you? That's exactly what we do. Give us a call. We file those for our clients through a process called VAWA, and that allows spouses of U.S. citizens or permanent residents to file for their own papers. Hi there, good day, Barbara. I would like to make an appointment, but I am doing a live-in care job. So I would like to make an appointment for early December. Call us. Give us a call so that you can get on our schedule ASAP. Um, I am, what are USCIS fees involved in a T status application? Zero. So there's zero fees. That's the upsides. After April 1st, it's been zero fees. Thanks so much for the gifts. I appreciate it. Awesome. Where are you located? In Boca Raton, Florida. We have our main office also in Delray Beach. But we do represent clients in all 50 states and the globe. So, in regards to the visa extension, we'd have to understand exactly how you applied for it. If you applied for your child individually, because there needs to be some indication that your child has been granted the extension because your child entered with a visa as well. So, you definitely would need to check on that. I've been trying to call, but they put me on hold. So usually the team is very good. We have a team that is 24/7, answers the phone. We rarely have issues like that. So you can give us a call back or you can send us a DM. And in the DM, they will have an intake specialist contact you directly. So if you don't want to wait, they possibly are trying to put you on hold to transfer you to the right person, but it's usually not a problem with our team. Husband's work permit application was sent in March and April 30th biometrics was done. Have not heard anything back. So usually you're not going to hear anything back. You're just going to get the work permit. What's the benefit of the prima facie? I was granted it twice. So in the state that you're living in, you may be able to get certain benefits like food assistance, housing assistance, and you may also be able to get your license, just depending on the state and their processes. So you'd have to check with the DMV on the driver's license, and on the state, in regards to state benefits, you check in with the state's Human Services Department or Welfare Department. Have you received any work permits for pending order T cases? So not yet. We're still waiting to see what the process, how long it's going to be. How long does USCIS take to give an initial response when applying for T status? And what would be the first response? I say 2 to 6 weeks. Sometimes it's very busy and they tend, like around the holiday time, for example, it can take a little longer. But we've seen 2 to 6 weeks to get the responses. Have you received any work permits for pending order T status cases? As I answered that, how long can a green card holder stay outside of the US? I would not stay outside of the US for more than 6 months, because then you are at risk for losing your permanent residence, for them presuming that you've abandoned your permanent residence. So just be careful about that. Thanks so much for the love on TikTok. I appreciate it. How much for the consultation? $150. Now, if you call the office now, they'll definitely help you to schedule. And we work, it's not only me, but the attorneys with the law firm that work with me closely to qualify our clients for certain benefits. They are also available. So if not me, you can always schedule with the other attorneys as well. Now, what I would say is it's not only my schedule that's filling up, but I have expanded the firm so that I can provide as much benefit to as many immigrants as possible. Because what we do for our clients, not a lot of other attorneys are doing. So we're making sure that we can provide as much as we can to our clients. What part of that expansion is, we've had two attorneys join the law firm to help with that, and they work closely with me, but all of our schedules are filling up. So please make sure you do this quickly. Go to the link in the profile, go to the link in the description of the video on YouTube, Facebook, click on the link, and then select the earliest available date that works for you. Get it on our calendar so we can figure out a solution for you. I'm telling you, now is the time. Do it now, because the policies are there to allow a lot of immigrants to get the relief based on certain circumstances, and a lot of immigrants are facing those circumstances, especially when you've overstayed your visa and when you've crossed the border without permission. So get in touch with us, and then we do a complete evaluation. We provide you legal advice as well, but in the process, we determine what qualifies you to get your papers here, even though you've overstayed and even though you've crossed the border without permission. Can the church help someone to obtain a green card? Yes, they can. So it's through the I believe the R visa. Um, but keep in mind that you have to maintain your status. You can't overstay. So they can't apply for you to get the visa if you've already overstayed. My visa was canceled after going for an interview for my child. I spent up to 4 months. So yeah, if they suspected that you were working in the US, then that can happen. So in order to avoid any cancellation of your visa, uh, do not come to the United States and spend extensive lengths of time in the United States, because you are putting yourself at risk for having them scrutinize your visa and whether you've been working, and that can lead to a cancellation. So be very careful about how long you're spending in the United States and how often you're traveling. If you travel 6 months, say 6 months maximum every single year, then at that point they will suspect that you're coming here to work, and you have to make sure that you have solid evidence if they do ask you, because sometimes they don't even give you time to answer questions. They just do what they want. So be very careful. What's the next step after biometrics T? For the T visa, it's to wait for a decision. So sometimes the decision does take 12 to 18 months, but keep in mind that with the new prima facie, the bona fide determination process under the T visa, after the biometrics appointment, it means that they can okay your application for a bona fide determination, which means that they'll put you in deferred action. Deferred action, that means a protected status. And then you will be able to get your work permit. And what we're doing is we're applying for a work permit for our clients, the work permits for our clients ahead of time, so that when our clients get the bona fide determination, they will automatically then be sent the work permit after they've determined they qualify for deferred action. My case just updated that my card is being processed. When should I expect it? I said 2 to 4 weeks. How long does USCIS take to give an initial response when applying for T visa? So I answered that. Can I get to file after visa cancel? So this is where your case is a little more complex because of this situation with the cancellation. You want to get a detailed evaluation. Can you file for a green card? It's going to depend on why they canceled your visa. Can you file for another visa afterwards? If they've canceled it, you're really going to have to overcome whatever reasons they canceled your visa for. If they're convinced that maybe, they made a mistake, or that you're not going to repeat the violations and you do indeed qualify for the visa and you don't have any inadmissibilities, then they would issue it. But I would say you have a steep hill to climb. How much will it cost to file for a green card for me and my daughter? Um, So I'd have to check the chart. The fees have changed. So I'd have to check the chart, because now it depends who's petitioning for you to get the green card and who's petitioning for your daughter to get it. And then that's going to determine how many forms need to be filed, and then the fees come with a form. How's about green card for Central Asian citizens? So you'd have to qualify in like everybody else in order to get your green card. I have work permit, but I want to file for VAWA. Can I get it renewed? Absolutely, yes. Give us a call. We help our clients through transferring from your process where you already have the work permit to the VAWA. So we transfer the work permit to the VAWA process. Um, All right, that's going to be it from me. Thanks everybody for the love. Thanks for all these amazing questions. I'm always thrilled by the questions that I get. So I'm aiming to come on tomorrow again to answer questions. What you can do is follow, subscribe, do what you need to do on the page, YouTube, Facebook, whatever page you're watching on, TikTok. Make sure that you follow, subscribe, like in order for you to get notification that I'm live, so you can hop back on when I'm live if you're available. All right. So thanks again for your time. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, the best way that you can get to an answer, get to solutions for your situation is to give us a call right now, schedule your appointment, or go to the link in the profile or the link in the description of the video to be able to schedule your own appointment. We make it very easy for you to get in touch and to schedule your appointments. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.